Ladies and gentlemen, joining us today is the creative force behind the brand presence of Breeze Airways, James Belyeu. As a skilled brand and content manager, James doesn't just craft content, he weaves narratives that elevate the Breeze Airways experience to new heights. With a rich background in entertainment and textile retail industries, coupled with his academic foundation in comm studies and German from BYU, James brings a unique blend of strategic thinking and artistic flair to everything he touches. Whether it's a visually striking design or a compelling brand story, James knows how to connect deeply with his audience. And James, I'm happy you're here with me, man.
Glad to be here. Thank you for that really nice intro.
Yeah, of course. No, I appreciate you joining. I know this was impromptu, but I'm super stoked to just hear about like your background, and I know our listeners are as well. But take me through what you wanted to be when you grew up. Even I don't know. You probably didn't think you'd be running marketing for an airline, but I know we spoke last night, and you damn sure are happy you are. So
I think every child probably out there is like, oh, I want to be like an astronaut or like a soccer player. Those were definitely on my list, and I am neither one of those.
Okay. Didn't work out.
Did not work out. Not very athletic, except for tennis. I can hold my own, but soccer definitely not. And then I found out that you have to be really good at math to be an astronaut, so that was...
Which is like underrated.
Right?
Yeah, in movies you never really see the astronauts doing...
You just see them like writing on papers, and it's like, oh,
yeah, exactly.
So that was out. So yeah, what I'm doing now is way beyond what I ever thought I'd be doing. I knew it was something in the creative space. I love creating when I was younger, but I never imagined a few days.
And what did you like creating when you were younger?
Oh gosh, I loved like putting on like shows for like my family, but not like you stand up and it's like, hi, I'm gonna sing a song for you. It was like, okay, I'm gonna get my Hot Wheels out. I'm gonna show you the full line of Hot Wheels. Sure. Look at this amazing new car that I still do that.
Really?
My friends and family.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just like turn off the lights, have like glow light going. It was so much fun. I loved it.
So the creative juices were going.
Yeah.
I'm curious, what was your first impression what's the first time you heard of Breeze Airways?
So the first time I heard of Breeze Airways was, I want to say late spring of 2022. I was just on LinkedIn, and it popped up, and I was like, what's Breeze Airways? And then I did some Googling, and I'm like, oh, it's JetBlue. I've heard of JetBlue before. Yeah. It was the founder of JetBlue. This is his newest airline. And then after that, I was like, I kind of went down the rabbit hole of who is David Neal?
What about airline travel and marketing behind that got you excited?
Aviation, just in general, is just so exciting. There's
right below astronauts, right?
So yeah, there's I didn't get space, but I'll take it. So
what is it? Shoot for the stars, land on the moon?
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. I saw that and was like, okay, this could be cool. Aviation space, I've never done it.
So,
and talking with their recruiter, what made Breeze stand out to me was their approach of they wanted to create stories in their communities that they were a part of, which that's the company I was at previously. We were all about storytelling. And I was like, oh yeah, that'd be easy. Sure. Why not? Sign me up.
Yeah.
And knowing that going in was very, very helpful.
Yeah. I think, just to call it out how it is, I think you'll get on and hear from Brand Week and everyone's like, storytelling. We want to storytell, right?
Yeah.
How does Breeze storytell differently than other companies?
That is a very good question. So I always go back to, I'd say probably almost every day that I'm working, I think of it. Our founder, David Neeleman, he always says that everyone deserves to travel and everyone deserves to travel affordably, but they should be able to do it nicely, in a nice way. And to do that, you really have to know who you're talking to. And that's a big thing that we do at Breeze is being a part of the communities. But you can be in a community and put up an ad and people see it and it's like, cool story. Thanks for putting your ad. But if you're going out to their local soccer team events or a local school fundraiser and actually getting to know them, that elevates it completely. And it's like, okay, you're starting to weave into who is this community, what's actually important to them. So if I'm in a Kenton Akron, I'm gonna talk to that audience a certain way to talk to a Tampa, Florida.
Sure. One thing I like about Breeze is they trademarked the seriously nice airline. Uh, I think I know what that means, right? But what was the idea behind that trademark and why, it worked?
With that, it was when they were building Breeze. I think it was like 4 years ago when they were like kind of ruminating on this of like, what is Breeze going to be?
Yeah.
They kept landing on like, we want it to be nice. We want it to be a nice experience. But you can't just say something is nice. Like, there needs to be something else that went with it.
Yeah, because if you read Delta, it probably says like, we're nice. Yeah, like everything did. Yeah.
And with nice, it's like, yeah, we're nice, but we also take it serious. So it's not just like this like pleasantry of like, oh, they're nice. It's like, no, we take it very serious and we're seriously nice. And it's kind of fun to see it when people come on our planes. They're like, whoa, like this is nice. Like, and it's kind of like this, like, whoa, seriously, it's like actually nice. I was not expecting this.
And what kind of content have you created to back up that and really like drill home that brand?
So much content. One of my favorites, we actually just dropped it a little bit ago. We do this really cool events called Autism Double Checked. We like a mock boarding event or a prep event, if you will, kind of prepping families to travel on an airplane. And with that, we've teamed up with this awesome organization called Autism Double Check. And this recent video we put out, we actually followed a family around of what is it like for someone that's on the autism spectrum to travel. Way different than like if we were to travel. Yeah, it's the things that we take for granted of like loud noise in the area or someone running across you or like bumping into you. Totally different for everything like that. And I remember our first one that we did. It was so cool. And to this day, I still remember it. And this was like 2 years ago almost when we did it. It said, someone commented, "Thank you so much for seeing me." And it's like, as a creator, it's like, oh, that's so cool. You actually, you got it of like what I was trying to do. I saw you and I saw that this is something that we need to show off in a special way so that people can have an understanding and educate everyone. But then also make that audience feel like they're at ease of, yeah, you can fly with Breeze and we're here for you. We've got your back.
So curious too, right? It's with a new airline, my mind immediately goes to like, okay, how do I trust them, right? Delta, American, all the guys that you're going against, they have been in the air for 20 plus, 30 plus years, right? So how do you establish trust with your audience?
Yeah, I would say just really going back to our values of who we are. One of our values is kindness. And obviously, number one is security.
Sure.
We always remind ourselves of that. We want people to have a secure, safe experience. But with that though, kindness, kind of going back to the seriously nice. You can say that you're kind, you can say that you're safe, but how you do it really makes you stand out from everyone else. And we focus very heavily on just creating the best experience possible for people, to build that trust just organically. It's kind of like if you say like, oh, trust me, it's like, okay, am I going to trust you? But if you can show it, it's so much better than actually having to tell someone, hey, trust me.
Totally. And David Neilman, you brought him up a couple of times. You already brought about his quotes, right? He founded JetBlue. What about his leadership style really speaks to you?
Well, it's interesting. When I first joined, I had heard of him, but not in the aviation space. I had just heard of him as being a very successful entrepreneur.
Sure.
So that was it. But after being at Breeze and understanding how his mind works and what he sees for Breeze, his leadership style, I really like it that he's involved when you need him to be, and he's not when you don't need him to be. He has so many other things going on.
Yeah.
And it's as simple as that sounds. That's very hard for a startup, for especially an airline. It's a lot of money on the table. And he kind of, I feel like he has a philosophy of, if I have the right people working for me, and I give them the vision of what I want to achieve, it could be possible. Totally. And he trusts us to do that.
And with the environmental, with global warming just happening, right?
Yeah.
Airlines have been getting a lot of, a look into their emissions. What is Breeze doing, to offset that?
Yeah. So the first one that we did is our aircraft. It's brand new A220s from Airbus.
And you guys don't fly Maxes, which is good.
Yeah. Yeah. And we love it. It's an amazing piece of machinery. I don't know if that's okay to say machinery. I'm still new to the aviation community. I get those things wrong sometimes. But it's one of the things in picking it was its capabilities of not using as much fuel.
Yeah.
With its engines, which are made by Pratt and Whitney, and it just being this just efficient, wrapped overall, like aerodynamic, of course, but being light, very quiet. So not even on the sustainable side, and I've learned so much about sustainability. Like it's not just like the typical like fuel.
Sure.
There's also like noise pollution, which is huge in some of our airports that we fly into, because we fly into these secondary cities that have small airports that are sometimes surrounded by neighborhoods. Yeah, they don't want to hear these big jets coming in.
Sure.
And we have to make sure that we're in compliance with that.
Yeah.
Our aircraft lets us do that. So it's like, okay, it's cool that, cutting down on noise pollution too.
Totally. That is awesome. Do you see yourself being in like airline marketing for a long time?
They say once you join the aviation club, you kind of got the bug. You never want to leave.
Sure.
And I told
What about it is so awesome?
just it's not boring. Every day is so different. There's so many different things that you can do, especially in the space I'm in now. Sure, you're building an airline, like
there's a lot of work to be done.
a lot of work. But it's fun because the industry it's very hospitality, centered around hospitality.
Yeah.
And
That is never having a good experience.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I love that. And when I think back on my career and the things that I've done, it's kind of always been around hospitality.
Sure.
So I don't know. I kind of see myself in this for the haul.
There you go.
Being in the aviation space, because I love it.
There you go. And what's one thing people might not expect from just airline marketing and working at Breeze?
There is so much thought that goes into everything. So our team, they call it, we actually, in our team's chat, we call it Marcom Pro, because it's marketing, communications, and our products. And there's so much overlap. Totally. Like, I'll be in one meeting for, okay, what is the press release going to look like, and how can I build content off of that for social media, to another meeting where it's like, okay, what are we going to be picking for our catering menu the next year, and what are the partners that I'm going to pull from that that we can work with to create content. And it's like what? Like I would have never expected that joining when I first joined, that I'd be picking a catering menu.
Yeah, no, definitely. Right. But it is marketing, right? It's getting people to come back. What's the biggest thing you've learned at being at Breeze?
I feel like it's kind of cliche to say, but own your mistakes and just learn from it, and be able to move fast on being innovative and making it better. Something I always tell myself, because we are a small team and we have to be so nimble, I always say, like, don't be so precious about it. Like, if I'm working on something for so long and then someone else comes in and like, oh, I have this idea, listen to it. Totally way better than what I'm thinking, because at the end of the day, we have to look at, this is a national brand that has to be protected, and we're all building the same thing.
If you were to go back in time and give your younger career self some advice, what would you tell them?
I would tell myself to don't say no. That's something I learned probably in my mid-20s, of like, just say yes to everything. I would have told myself that like way younger, like, yeah, just go for it. Like, if you fail, cool. Just keep trying. You'll have way more experiences that you'll remember for the better than for the worse.
Before we end this thing, I got to ask a question from the audience before we hit the quick question round. So we have a big audience today, but I'll pick on one person who's been waving their hand for a very long time, and that is Dylan, right? All right. How about you come on up here?
Sponsorship.
Yeah.
When you're evaluating, when you already evaluated and you signed on, What is the most impactful thing you look for? What you do with sponsorship, a media buy, it's experiential, something that's different. What do you look forward to? A successful one, and ones that have failed. Why did they fail?
We always start every conversation when I take these sponsorship calls with, we are not the airline that's just going to throw up, or not the brand that's just going to throw up a billboard and call it a day. We hate doing that. We want to do it differently than everyone else. We're going to partner with that brand because they have a built-in audience, and we want to access that audience to be a part of that community. So we want fan experience. So usually I'll ask them like, hey, can we get your fan experience team involved in putting together this proposal? Because I want to figure out, how do we engage with your fans in a way that's meaningful? Something that we're going to do in this city is not going to be the same in the next city. And those are the ones that have been the most successful, have been the partners that have really leaned into that and not been scared of like, whoa, why are you so involved with this? Go to it, take your money and put up some signs like, no, yeah, we don't want that. And the ones that haven't been successful are the ones that are very like traditional of like, okay, we'll put up your sign here, and those are the ones who are like, okay, this was fun to try. Glad it didn't really work, bro.
Yeah. I mean, that's awesome. I think just having a nimble marketing team and trying different things and actually doing it, being a startup airline compared to these big ones, has its pros, which you guys are definitely leaning into. Thank you. Before we get into our quick question round, I want to crack open a cookie with you and say that to do anything with our just our podcast, all right? See if the message relates.
An exciting opportunity lies below your waist.
There you go.
That is hysterical.
That's a great one. Who's the brand on the back? I'm guessing Manscaped, right? Yeah, it'd be weird if it was...
brand.
Be weird.
Using for my beard trimmer.
Yeah, it would be weird if it was like cars.com or something, you know? You will find the inspiration to start anew.
Ah,
Cars.com.
I like that.